I would imagine that there's going to be a handful of people who are listening to this show for the first time on this episode. But for the people who it's not their first time, I would imagine that there's a very much non-zero chance that they've heard about you before. You've had an immense impact on my life. And I think a lot of the lessons that we talk about are things that I carry and reference quite a bit and try to like pass on those tools to other people. So I'm really excited to be able to have you here and finally be like, be able to not just parrot the things that, the lessons that you've taught me, but also give you a platform to share some of them. One of the things that I've thought of though, for all of my podcasts is I love when I come to your place, regardless of what kind of day I've had or what's going on in my life, the first thing that we always do is like a check-in, right? And whether that's, hey dude, clearly you've had 3 cups of coffee today and you had some shit going on this morning. So like, we're going to breathe for a minute, or if it's just, babbling or whatever, but I want to do a check-in to get this thing started. I don't know.
You checking in with me?
Yeah, I'm checking in with you. Where are we at today?
Well, it's an honor to be in here, in your sacred space here. And the thing that is the most passionate part of you, that I get to witness that. And it's such an honor to be in that. So really feeling that like, yeah, just cool people doing cool shit. So that's exciting. It's an honor. Feeling really kind of up for the challenge of not knowing exactly what you're going to ask.
Okay.
So like, I love chess and I love puzzles, and this kind of feels like we're going into like a puzzle work,
Okay.
I've always played with getting just a white piece, a white puzzle.
Okay.
So there's no picture, but you're just putting the jigsaw together.
That sounds like
and
a
it's
nightmare.
round.
Damn.
But doesn't it sound fun? Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
That you just kind of tap in and just see what comes up.
So a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of excitement maybe.
Yeah, because it's like game time.
Yeah, for sure. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The one of the things that I've been thinking about is, and honestly, I told you before we got on the show that this episode was really exciting to me because so many times I get to reference to other people lessons that you've taught me, and it becomes maybe a pillar for a conversation or how we're working through something together. And I got a chance to ask them some questions to say like, hey, knowing all of the things that we've talked about together, and I keep referencing these things that that come up from Summer, like what are some questions that you would want to ask if you got to sit in a session or across the table, or about me to Summer? Like what are all the things? And we have some of those that we'll push to the end that I'm really excited about. But before that, I think one of the most helpful lessons that you've helped me with is this idea of alignment before action. If there's any like floating billboard that I should probably have in front of my face at all times, it's probably that. And in some ways you've kind of helped put that there for me. But what does alignment before action mean, and why does that maybe a pillar for some of the things that you teach?
Well, first, I got to give a shout out to my homegirl, Aaliyah Fredrickson. She is one that has held me accountable, and working with a law of attraction, working with energy is what we're talking about is energy. So align your energy, and when we're in balance, there's a feel good. And when we're out of balance, there's some restriction or symptom, right? And so we begin to create a discoherence between the mind and the body. And if we keep forcing that, the symptoms get bigger and bigger, right?
Right.
And so when we're alignment before action is you never take an action that is increasing the momentum of what the not feel good is, what the out of flow is, what the constriction, restriction symptoms are, right? So alignment of mind, body, soul, which I don't know how deep you want to go, but it really is, if this doesn't feel good, pause, go into it and see what is trying to get your attention. Because if you're not paying attention, what are we doing? We're forcing something. And where does force come from?
Yeah.
It comes from the ego. It comes from these ideas that we have and these opinions, these inner judgments, these expectations, these false entitlements. It's like, it goes deep.
Right.
So yeah, just align. Does this feel good? It really can be that simple. And when we attune more and more, the subtle messages of, is there an expansion or is there a constriction?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a sensation here that's closing or is it opening? It's that simple.
Yeah. I would imagine that when people come to you, I mean, depending on how they come across you, right? Whether it's some of your videos or your articles or your TED Talks or any of the things that you put out, I would imagine that one of the states that people might be in when they first decide to reach out to you might be one of misalignment or
absolutely
something has happened. And so what are some of the patterns that you see, or what are some of the things that you recognize when people reach out where it's like, oh, okay, this tends to be what misalignment looks like?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because I'm duly licensed psychotherapist. So I've been trained through the Western lens to diagnose DSM-5 illness, mental illness.
In
right?
a clinical sense.
In a clinical sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that lens of OCD, bipolar, depression, phobias, all the lens of trauma and bipolar, schizophrenia, personality disorders.
Mm-hmm.
But then as a certified yoga therapist, I'm trained to see the diagnosis through the somatic structural. It could be physical structural,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be energetics somatically. Muscles, tension, tightness.
Right.
And so through both lenses of Eastern and Western, it's that we have symptoms that lead to disease mentally, emotionally, and physically. And if we ignore and try to overpower our out of balance symptoms, then it lands in the physical body. It goes into our autoimmune diseases. It goes into our later in life cancers and physical.
Right. So it's almost like having I'm imagining like the floor plans that you lay over each other when you're like blueprinting, or like the architects can lay these stacks of things over each other. We've got these maps that you can see maybe through different lenses to pinpoint instead
That's
of
energy healing.
Yeah. Instead of what are the symptoms, maybe like be able to map backwards to what are the problems.
Yeah. That is the energy healing. That's why when I started studying with my sound teacher,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, holy shit, metaphysics. It made sense of my whole life.
Yeah.
Because the maps is the energy and how we experience that through the sheaths, through the layers.
Right. So one of the things that I really appreciate about your approach to things is that it's so multifaceted.
I know, it's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Right. How do we put a label on this thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And I'm curious, obviously having been the benefactor of being able to talk to you from like, we can go way out into the like quote unquote woo woo place if we need to go there, or we can go very into like the academic, here's the test answers to this thing.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, throughout your journey so far, what have been the things that have drawn you to having such a wide scope and such a wide lens of learning to put your approach together?
Ask again.
Why have you chosen to learn so many different disciplines and so many different lenses of looking at the human experience?
I don't know if I can answer why, other than it has always just been me following my interest and passions. I get the question a lot of, how did you come to do what you do? And as cheesy as it is, my only answer when I follow that thread back is I was born. I was born into this. I don't know if it was an intentional thing other than me listening to my own callings, my intuition. It's like in middle school, what white girl from Billings, Montana is reading Malcolm X and Mahatma Gandhi in 7th grade?
Right.
Like, I can't even answer that.
Yeah.
I can't answer when I was 12 that my dad asked what I wanted for my birthday, and I'm like, Bob Marley. I just want Bob Marley. I just got a Walkman.
Nice.
And it was just the legend.
Yeah.
And I would listen to it and go to sleep with it. I mean, months, it's all I listened to. So
you went to bed to Bob Marley?
Oh, man.
Those were my nursery rhymes when I was a kid. That's what my dad would play for me and my little brother. That's cool.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, see? It's like the things of, I don't know why it's a part of me, but it was in my story. And,
Okay.
It explains a lot about you.
Yeah. That's interesting because I feel like that intuition piece, right? Like you said at the beginning, things that make you feel like you're expanding, and it's fuck yes, this feels good. It's the thing.
Yeah.
And it sounds like there was a lot of those along your journey. I
can tell you when I was out of alignment with it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you when I got back in.
Yeah. Paint that picture for me.
Yeah. So when I was finishing my master's, it was a time of my life that I was unhappy in my marriage. I had 3 small children. I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband then very much supported me to go to school in the evenings. So he would work, and then I would go to school, and he would have the 3 kids. Mm-hmm. I was just pregnant with Chloe when I started my master's, right? So very supported there. But as I graduated my master's, I always had this pull to get certified in yoga, to start studying yoga.
Okay.
Yoga had been in my life since I was a child. I didn't remember that then. But I grew up with my grandmother doing headstands in the living room.
Hell yeah.
I have
Shout
her
out
yoga
to Grandma.
books.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Granny Abby. I have her yoga books from the 1970s that she wrote her own notes in.
Nice.
When she died, my family gave me those. So she was doing yoga and was very natural, homeopathic, but never called it those things.
Just lived it.
Just lived it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was in me that I was wanting to pursue that. And I kept getting told, no, we don't have the money. You can't, where are you going to go to that? And then as I started going through my separation from that man, it was the first thing. It was the first thing of, now I can do that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Now I can do it. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care what I have to do. Remember, sacrifice for the greater gain. Mm-hmm. So on the weekends, I didn't have the kids. And I really believe that when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yeah.
I don't remember how the synchronicities came together, but my teacher, Paula Faher in Bozeman, every weekend that I didn't have the kids, I was sleeping in my car sometimes to go to Friday, Saturday, Sunday to study the whole time with her and one other person. So it was a cohort of 2.
Okay.
And I did that for almost 2 years.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So you were living in Billings, going to Bozeman.
Living in Billings, going through an extremely difficult divorce.
Yeah.
Finishing my master's, working a capstone. I worked at school counseling in Orchard School in Lockwood. Mm-hmm. They don't pay. That's an unpaid position.
Love the game.
Sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
So when we are not listening to that alignment piece, how far does it need to go to get our, to knock us over the head of wake the fuck up?
Right.
And it goes deep. It goes hard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's interesting. I want to jump back to painting more of that picture here in a minute, but that reminds me of this idea of like I think it's called the region beta paradox, where the amount of pain, the pain essentially has to hit a certain threshold before you take action on it. And that there are times where we have these super large moments of like a lot of acute pain. We have a divorce, we get sick, we have somebody passes, something like that happens.
Yep.
And the amount of pain that results from that shakes a lot of shit up, where we then go make a change. But where the difference lies is there's a lot of like very slow burn, non-acute pain that we just deal with. And, if career for me is like a really good example of that, where in my first 2 years right out of college, I was working at a marketing agency in Red Lodge, and I had this like slow burn pain of, I always knew I wanted to be a business owner, but I wasn't doing it. And I had this 2-hour commute, there, an hour there and back every day. that I really wasn't a huge fan of. And then I had this, like these things that I wanted to do that I wasn't doing, and this pay thing that was an issue. Like all of these things that were like by themselves, not a huge issue, but each day it just chipped away and chipped away and chipped away and chipped away. And what drove me crazy about it was that it wasn't bad enough where I was willing to make a change, but it wasn't good enough where I felt called to it, fulfilled by it, or anything like that. And so I was almost looking, it's like, how do I blow something up in my life where I'm willing to get out of this thing? So I'm curious for you, how do you look at that slight misalignment? You've got 1 foot on the path and 1 foot off the path, and it's a little uncomfortable because there's a fence right there and it's kind of right up in your shit, but not uncomfortable enough to like totally go one way or the other. How do you reflect on that situation?
Well, if we're not aware of it, it just kind of plays out, right? So awareness to everything is key, but it's not a fair question if we don't have awareness, because it's all going to play out. So the biggest thing is, how self-aware are you in that moment?
Do you even know that you're in pain?
Yeah, and it's part of why I'm writing a book, and it's part of why I've created this course. Most people go into these phases through healing, and the second phase is self-help. It is a $1 trillion industry.
What's the first
self-help. The first phase is, I think exactly what we're saying is, I know there's a problem, but I don't know what to do about it. So I'm going to keep drinking. I'm going to keep just doing the same habits and blaming other people.
Yeah.
Right? It's like we kind of know, but we don't really know what to do with it. And then we go, you know what? I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to dive in and listen to the podcast and read the books and go to yoga. That's the self-help phase. The third phase of people actually doing the inner work and creating the practices, that's a tricky one, because people lack fortitude and self-discipline, and it's easier to blame. It's easier to live out of alignment sometimes and just be like, well, my doctor said.
Right. Yeah.
So first of all, self-awareness, and then it's really about honesty. I mean, how honest do you want to be? What are you willing to do when you're honest? And I think that's, again, it's a big miss, is people, oh man, all of these questions are going to be really hard because there's not one easy answer.
For sure. Yeah.
Because it leads into the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing.
Right. Makes for good podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like alignment before action, soul or heart and soul before ego.
Yeah. So, so I think to like package some of what you said, and like what my understanding of it is, like level 1 is being honest with yourself about what are the things that feel out of alignment right now. Where does the pain exist? Where are the things that I'm lying to myself, lying to others, creating an illusion? And then step 2 is figuring out, okay, well, what is there to do about it? And then 3 might be actually putting them into action and having discipline around it.
Yeah, and then 4 is the living it, where it's integrated, it's embodied, it's individuated.
Right. Going back to painting some of the picture about how you've ended up where you're at today, it's cool to hear where you're at with your master's program and like the academic side of it. And then immediately, once you have the space for it, weaving in the yoga part and all of those things. When you look at your life, even before that, and like the journey to get here, I would imagine that these 4 steps are this like common theme of alignment. I think for all of us, it's something that kind of like ebbs and flows, and we get in alignment and out, and there's things that do that for us. But what are some of the major milestones in your life that maybe showed you what your calling was, or helped you feel what your calling was? And then what were the milestones along the way of like actually pursuing that?
Damn, bro. Like, how much time do we got?
We got all the time in the world. We're only 20 minutes in. We've conditioned our audience to know that these are going to be long conversations.
Yeah, I mean, we can't escape our childhood. So hindsight's 2020, and we say that because we can look back and have a knowing and make sense of it once we're through it.
Yeah.
So, my first big one is how far out of alignment I had become through middle school.
Okay.
But then I have to take it back even further there. When you're a child, you are just swimming in the water. You don't know the water you're swimming in, right?
Yeah.
And so there's not an ability to be self-aware, but I can see where things were out of balance. Like I had, when I was 8 years old, a pretty severe car wreck.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it was the first time a major, it was the second time a trauma had happened where time ceased and everything slowed down. And it was that warpy time and space where all was happening, nothing was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I can see in hindsight where that led to my middle school years.
Okay.
And where it led up to me trying to commit suicide.
Okay.
And then I can see the journey coming out of that deep depression and severance.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming back into balance and then out of balance and then back in balance when I went to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Right? My first hero's journey was I'm going to New Zealand, which I was told I would never do.
Okay.
Couldn't do it. You're not ever going to do that. So, yeah, there is a beautiful rhythm of my own life, which is where I'm at in my calling now, is to, in that fourth phase of it being integrated more and more, I'm still doing my inner work all the time with my mentors and guides. But why I'm in this, that is my calling, is how do I now just give that wisdom to others so that they can be in their golden shadow.
Yeah. I think that one of the things that I love about the human experience is it seems like we're all on some version of that journey. It looks so...
Can't escape it.
Yeah, and it looks so different for so many different people, right? And because the calling is different, that the thing at the end of their path is a little bit different than the thing at the end of my path. But what I love is there's a lot of people who... they learn the lessons along the way and then they're willing to share with their close circle or they're willing to do whatever. But I feel like there's a very select few who the end of their path or a very maybe key pillar of their path is that they're supposed to be collecting all of this information and then helping everybody else who's walking also.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us do that in very small ways when a friend goes through a breakup or something happens to somebody around you, then we're willing to give these little trinkets of information or of lessons or of whatever when we're called upon to do it. I'm curious for you though, what was it? Was there a moment where you realized or felt that your calling was to be one of these people that helps other people along this journey that we're all on?
There were thousands of micro moments.
Mm. Mm-hmm. When did they start?
Honestly, Drew, I know what I do is healing work. Mm-hmm. I say all the time, healing work is empowerment work. I've had a very hard time calling myself a healer.
Okay.
I think that is a credit that goes beyond me in the human form. I am not the healer. I get to guide people to turn on their inner healer. And because I have followed my alignment with such love
yeah,
and commitment that I am now getting the gravity of what it is that I do and hold for people.
Right.
And again, I'm just now beginning to acknowledge to myself what that is,
So when you say these micro moments, it was less of here's this grand picture of me being a healer, of me being a guide, of me being a mentor. and now I just need to work my way towards that. Sounds like what you're saying it was more of a, hey, these things just feel right. Like I'm going to keep doing the right thing in all these moments.
And over. And my dad, when I was younger, he would always ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'd say, I want to be the person that's birthing into the world.
What does that mean?
Right? I want to be a baby doctor.
Oh, interesting.
I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah. Turns out my brother's the OBGYN. But I'm a birthing doula of the soul.
Funny. Yeah.
It's like I have the ability to go within the psyche, the subconscious, the unconscious, and birth into the true potential of someone's highest self. And so I still see myself as birthing while I'm, doing this psychic surgery. And nobody has to understand that, because over the course of calling, metaphysically, I understand it. So it's like within the woo-woo language, I never really know how deep to go, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, how much do you want to geek out on it? Because I get really lit up and really start talking faster. But, throughout my life, I can go back to those moments of going symbolically. I knew when I was little, I knew that I would be working within this birth and death transformation process of, the phoenixes that rise over and over. I mean, how many times do we have a phoenix rising story in our own hero journey?
Right.
So I work on the symbolic archetypal realm of whatever healing capacity that is.
Yeah.
When people are ready to go into that work.
I'll
go as deep as they go.
Right.
And one of the most important things for all the listeners, I really, really believe that therapy can really mess you up and it can do more harm. And where therapy can start to do a disservice is that it only takes you through the lens of healing.
Say more about that. It only takes you through the lens of healing.
Yeah, it gets to expose a layer of your wounds, your attachment styles, where you were dropped, where you were abandoned, or, your love wounds, right? But where it can be a disservice is, and then what? What do I do with that?
Yeah, great. Thanks for the information.
Yeah, cool. Now I hate my parents and don't want anything to do with my family.
Yeah, right.
Now I have no sense of belonging.
For sure.
So we can cut cords because it brings up so much stuff. And the next phase is that empowerment phase of, well, what are you going to do about it? And it's not about healing. Healing is part of the work. You cannot escape it. You can't avoid it because that energy has to be moved through. But it has to be on some level felt, grieved, and then learned from. Now, what are you going to do with it? Like, who are you because of it? And I think that therapy through the lens of healing and trauma and blah, 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 that's all important. But who am I because of it? Right? So when we become the victor of so much gratitude and seeing that it's all a part of this fabric that we are sewn from, it gets so exciting.
Yeah.
It gets so exciting because it's like, oh man, thank you so much, Dad, for being an alcoholic. Thank you so much for all of the abuse you gave me. Thank you so much for that rape that I had to experience when I was 13. And so we begin to see it and just create from it. Like, if we're not using that to create and find our own self-expression, we're not tapping into the highest self.
Right.
We're still in the lies and self-deception, which is the bypassing of what, ego does. Look at me, I'm so great.
Yeah. That's one of the things that perspective by itself is the thing that made it hard for me to think about going to like traditional therapy in the first place, was because it was really hard for me to think that spending more time in my problems would help make my life better.
Yeah.
That trying to understand the things that happened to me in the past, or the things that I'm sad about, or the things that are frustrating to me, there's that classic thing. It's like the goal of therapy is to get you to hate your parents and feel like it's their fault instead of yours. And to me, I just never saw that as helpful. But when I talk about you, it's difficult because I feel like the word that I'm supposed to use is therapist because people understand that word,
I know.
but it's not that.
No.
I've started saying mentor. I think that that's a lot closer to what it feels like to me. What I love about your work though, and when people ask me why I think that it's so special, is because it's the empowerment piece. And in so many ways, I feel like you have helped me look at therapy, mentorship, guidance, healing in an entirely 180-degree way. Because what I feel like you do is you start with the empowerment and you start with, who are you? Where do you want to go? What's the best version of this story? And then if we need to go back and look at some of the chapters that were written before this to write the next ones, we can do that. But we're going to use those to figure out how to keep writing this story in a good way and get these chapters back on track and get the right characters in and the right characters out. And you've had a lot of really hard shit happen to you.
Yeah, it's part of the design.
Yeah. So how have you gotten to this place where you started adopting what you just said? Like, life happens for me. Thank you for these hardships. Thank you for, what did that journey look like for you to get to that place?
So the higher I get in my altitudes, my internal altitudes of my own energy system and how it's all making sense is, if I can help people live from the higher altitudes, I know that we have to clear through the survival aspects. Okay. So for me, we all have mediumship. We all have psychic abilities. We all have 6th and 7th senses. We all have the ability to quiet down and turn in and get still and listen. So that in itself is a process and a journey, because we have to build self-trust to feel safe enough to go in, right? That's where the wounds exist. Mm-hmm. That's where the self-hatred exists. That's where the shame exists, right? So for me, it's part of my design because, one, if you're working there with a therapist that has not done their own therapy, get the fuck out. What are we doing?
Right.
You can only go as far as you've gone.
Yeah.
You can only go as far as you've gone. That is applied to any field, any profession. So for me, in the healing arts, I was designed to have a life that had multiple traumas. That's not personal. It is my symbolic so that I can be in reciprocity and hold that for people.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's easy to say now, but I would imagine that during those traumas, it's maybe not as easy to accept.
Through my last trauma of the last few years, I knowingly knew that so I could hold the gratitude of my heart shattering, of me going through such a painful death process, but I did knowingly know it. Mm. And at that time, I had people that were in the higher altitudes that just kept reflecting me. Know who you are. Remember who you are. Mm. And it's like in such dark times, if you can just get a little glimpse of light for all of that wisdom and hold on to it, there's breakthroughs.
Right. Mm-hmm. Was there a time where you started looking at these things? Was there a time where you started looking at the troubles of life as happening for you instead of to you? Or was that another gradual process?
I didn't have the language I do now, but part of me in that, spiritual warriorship is to know that it's happening for me. Mm. Now, I don't think I fully was consciously aware of that again until this last, huge part of my conscious existence,
Mm-hmm.
which was, part of my awakening in such a big way. It's like, if people want to be self-aware and awakened, you're literally asking for it. You're asking for a trauma. So prepare.
Yeah, because it'll get you there quickly.
Yeah. The death card and the tarot card, or the death card and the tower card will come up in your tarot reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. So victimhood, I have been a victim many times, but I have knowingly tried to not cower down to it.
Got it.
I've knowingly been like, this is not going to take hold of me. I have the power within. This doesn't get to control me.
Yeah.
It's why I quit drinking coffee. I can't have some habit having more power over me than I have over it. It's part of why I've studied psychotherapy and the brain so much, is the brain is just a tool. It's not going to have more power over me than I'm going to have over it. So I don't know if that's by design. I don't know where that came in, but I just recognize it's all power.
Right.
So the empowerment is from within, and that is a heart and soul level that is in alignment with higher self counsel, wisdom, knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting to me because I catch myself a lot of times when I'm having hard conversations with people or just talking about life in general. And there's a lot of times where the stories of hardship that I go through are the things that help me relate to other people. It allows me to give advice. It allows me to reflect. It allows me to do so many different things. And in those moments where I'm tapping into the things that I've gone through, I feel grateful for them. I feel grateful for the ways I've messed up. I feel grateful for the difficulties that I've faced and all those sorts of things. But it's so much easier to have that gratitude and to look positively on those moments when you're not going through one of them at the time.
Yeah.
And I had to check myself a little bit because one of those is pretty much always around the corner. Regardless of what form it's going to take or something like that, like to think that right now we're going to leave this place today and that we're not going to have another one of those, but short of dying is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And so I had to catch myself because I would reflect so positively on these times of hardship. Oh, my parents' divorce helped me find my independence. It helped me do this. And screwing up in my last relationship helped me be less of this type of person and reflect and do all these things. But those moments sucked so bad when I was in them. Mm-hmm. And now going through things on all different scales, it's like when I'm in one of those, it's really easy to slip back into that victim, like, why did this have to happen? This was so unexpected. Why won't she call me back? It was so this, it was so that. Yeah. And I think that it's like, we have so many of those moments where you get down the road and it's like, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Look at all the things that I learned. Look at these people that came into my life. Look at whatever. And it's something that I'm really trying hard to remind myself of. But for the people who have maybe had a taste of that sense of life happens for me, it doesn't happen to me, or look at all the hardships I've been through and how much better I am for it, wouldn't change them for the world. What are some of the tools that they can use, I guess, when they go through another one of these hard chapters that's helping form the character that they're supposed to be? What are some of the tools that they can use to stay out of that victimhood and stay out of that life is attacking me right now and get into that gratitude space?
Yeah, first you have to train your brain. You really have to take your brain to the gym and do some endurance training, strength and endurance. So with strength and endurance, how do we train our brain? We slow down, right? But that is a tricky question because one, when we're in it, it's that energy is forward. That energy is the space that we're acting from.
The hurt, the sadness,
the pain, the victimhood, it is happening to me. Right? So the strength and endurance training is to to be able to catch it. Or, I think one of our greatest tools is the people that we surround ourselves by. Because in the times, if we're in a victim energy, we might not catch it, because how are we going to catch it? It's not an object. We can't see it. Mm-hmm. It lives in our psyche. It lives in our blind spots.
Yeah.
It doesn't look a certain way. It doesn't have a certain texture, right? We just live through that lens. It's a filter that runs through. It's a deep core belief that we take to be true that we don't even know we believe in it.
Right.
Right? So when the things are in the subconscious, unconscious, and it just is acting out and creating a reality, one of the biggest tools is hold yourself to a higher esteem by the people you surround yourself by, because that is part of the identity. That is the mirroring of you.
Yeah.
Whether it is friendship, partnership, your family, relationships can look so many different. Your dog.
Right.
Oh, my dog is such a punk. I am a victim to my little dog. But does that make sense?
Yeah. So like one of the biggest tools is investing in the people around you so that they can help you catch it when you're slipping into that victimhood.
Yeah. It's to knowingly set up these relationships that are going to hold you accountable when you can't hold yourself accountable. And you can't hold yourself accountable when you're in victimhood, because how would you know? Sometimes it takes going through it. Like we said earlier, sometimes you just got to be in it before you can go, whoa, that was a year of ... That was 2 months of ...
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Because where that out of alignment living, it's leading to the thing that's going to knock you over the head and say, are you ready to wake up now? You ready to look at yourself now? And if we can surround ourselves by these mirrors, maybe they can catch it before life has to catch it for you.
Right.
So I know that people want these tools of like breath practices and meditation and journal and what book can I read? Mm-hmm. But really it's these concepts, yes, all of those, but there's way more. Mm-hmm. Social beings, we need social beings for growth.
Right.
We need the mirror because the psyche is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's unexposed. Most of it's in the shadows.
Yeah, it's something that I was thinking about over the last 2 weeks with one of the character forming moments that I've been going through. One of the things that I had thought about is there are a handful of things that make a good day for me, where they're fairly tangible and fairly like checklisty when it really comes down to it. And what I look at is like, there are times where I really feel like I'm in the shit. And during those times, it's so easy slipping into that victimhood to start to go back to compensating behaviors, to go back to the easy thing, to be lazy, to be whatever your version of escape or cope is.
Yeah, dark arts.
Yeah. And to me, one of the things that I was reflecting on is like, most of the time when things are going awesome for me, there tends to be a certain things that I'm doing in those moments that add to that fire. And usually it's moving my body somehow, whether it's lifting, running, training, whatever, writing something that matters, having some kind of education, so learning something, and then talking to somebody that I love, whether it's on the phone or in person or whatever.
Yeah, so you get perspective through those things.
Exactly. And so in some of those really difficult moments, writing myself a sticky note and saying, what makes a good day for me? What makes a good life? What makes these things? And if I can say, oh, I'm really sad right now. I didn't sleep good last night. I was up all night thinking about this. I was whatever. And I'm thinking, man, I'm a little too tired to go to the gym today. It's so much easier for me to invest in myself in the times where things feel easy and leave myself some breadcrumbs for, hey, I know some shit's probably right around the corner. But in these times that are really good, I'm going to the gym, I'm training, I'm getting around my friends, I'm writing, I'm learning. And I really like what you had to say about trying to set yourself up for success so that either the people around you can catch it or the best version of yourself can catch it and say, no, this isn't what we do when we're at our best.
Yeah, whatever the reminder is. And for me, I have part of the relationships that I have pulled in is my guides and mentors. So when you're in it, it's not up to me.
Interesting.
It's to be in a relationship, right? So even like I'm an obsessive journaler.
Okay.
From the time I got my first diary when I was 8, it had a little teddy bear on the outside and a lock and a key.
Nice.
So I would hide the key. And then one time I lost the key, so I had to pick my own lock. But one of the tricky things through journaling is, one, it helps get you out of the thinking mind, gets you out of the default mode, right? Network. And if you can just thank you, Freud, free association, to move it through, it begins to move through a different place. And then we can use it if we go back through and reread it. Maybe we write something and then a week later we go back and then we learn from it. And that's how we can use journaling as being in a relationship with ourself and self. But not a lot of people are going to even have that concept of using the journal to be in relationship as you would a mentor or a guide, right? To learn from. So sometimes journaling can even just be reinforcing negativity, blame, projecting, gossiping.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really the lens in which you journal from of where it's a positive, healthy tool.
Can we spend a second on that?
Mm-hmm.
So I've never thought of that concept before, that journaling could just be
spinning you out, just like therapy can be.
Yeah, exactly. So what do each sides of that coin look like? The using the journal as something that's spinning you out versus using your journal as a way that's helping elevate you.
Yeah, so let's go back where this conversation kind of first started with victimhood. If I'm writing from the victimhood, which is very close to my child, our child wounds, then again, what is the thing that's going to pull us out in our own self-reflections? Is it the question of, here's what's happening, I just got to get it out, and then what do I do about it? Light side, empowered side? Or is it just venting and writing about the situation of how bad it hurt? That dark side.
Yeah.
Are we writing from the place of entitlements? And, sometimes we can be so gluttonous with our own words that we're really just building up our own ego and we're staying in it. So
I want to use an example for this because I think that this is really valuable. It's a change that I've noticed in my own journaling.
Yes.
Over the last little while. And it's so funny. I use a journal almost exclusively. It'd be like birthdays, New Year's, these times of like reflection already.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. And almost all of them started with, well, you piece of shit. Remember in the last journal where it said that you were going to do this more often and blah, blah, blah. Well, that was a year ago. So welcome back to it. Like I had to get my own negative self-talk out of the way. And then I would jump into the journal and be like, okay, now that that's over, let's talk about what happened this year.
Yeah.
But a lot of those entries were history books. They were names, places, and dates. Here are the places that I went this year. Here are the fun moments. Here are this and that.
The autobiographical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I miss about some of those things is it helps me understand where the dots on my timeline were. Oh yeah, that was when I went to Boston for the first time and Paris, and like that was my first ever work trip. And I can think about that moment. But what I wish that I had instead was just got back from Paris. This was what it was like being with Bill during his birthday this year and celebrating with this Camus wine that I've never had before. And like, it's so cool that he could treat everyone. And
yeah, so then you started going to that second layer, emotional.
Exactly.
This is the feeling of that experience.
Yeah. And now I almost exclusively journal from the point of, here's a small point of reference of what we're talking about. Now let's get into it. Let's talk about what I'm feeling, the lessons I'm trying to learn from it, the things that I'm reflecting on. I would like to take an example maybe for the people who might be new to journaling or might be thinking about, maybe they've caught themselves in this conversation being like, oh, fuck, I'm a gossiper in my journal.
Yeah.
So somebody goes through a breakup. Let's say that they go through a breakup, they got cheated on. Mm-hmm. What do the two different versions of journaling look like where somebody does it in a constructive way that might be helpful for them versus doing it in a way where it's venti, emotional? It's the other thing.
This is the reel I put out today.
Beautiful.
Yeah, breakups. And that was a little, hey, Mom, Mom, I just got this really great idea from Golden.
Was it?
You should do a reel. You should start talking about breakups. Okay, so in journaling, the question is, how do you tell which was which? Of how do I constructively journal through the heartache or the pain of breakup?
Yeah.
So part of it is, what's really hard about breakups is it touches our hubris, right? It touches our pride. Mm-hmm. So it puts us in a pain experience. It doesn't matter if you were dating for 6 months, 10 years, 30 years, it puts us in our pride. So if we were to journal through that, we would miss the opportunity to see ourselves in it, to know thyself, to self-examine, if we're so focused on the other person and why we weren't good enough for them, why they don't choose us. So it becomes about us instead of a reflection of us, right? So if we are trying to, there's transition points, again, how I see it of first layer, second layer, core layer.
Yeah.
It's how I'm kind of teaching through the course to get into the core layer, which is the symbolic archetypal.
Yeah.
But in those transition points from first and middle layer is we begin to go, okay, what are the themes here? What's the story? Mm-hmm. And then to pull the value out of that is to see yourself in it in a way that you can take yourself out of it.
So what is that? To me, I'm trying to think about what the language might sound like or what the journal entry might look like if you're making it about them instead of about you. What does that journal entry look like? What are you writing? What are you saying? Is it
okay?
They stopped texting me.
I just got a message that so and so is already dating, and they saw him out at the coffee shop, and they were with a girl. I cannot believe he's already with a girl. He doesn't care about me at all. He's already moved on. He's already having sex. Like, again, it's very different through a feminine mindset, through a male mindset.
Still helpful, though. I feel like.
Yeah, so, men can go into the next relationship real quick. Mm-hmm. So through a female aspect of journaling of how bad it hurts that he's already moved on and da-da-da-da. From a male aspect, maybe it's she never appreciated me and, I did all this for her and, I would buy her flowers and she never really cared and I just took somebody out on a date and I brought a flower and she was so lit up and this girl respects me. She sees me, right? It's through a different lens, but it's still on what you're doing outside of you and how that person is, right? So projecting, blaming, transferring.
Right.
So you're still writing about yourself. It's personal, but the transition point is it's personal, but it's not personal. We can take ourselves out of the personal a little bit to see, okay, what am I, see me. What was my role in that? How did I play into that? What did I miss?
So how does that reflection change? How does that journal entry change when you make that transition to, yes, they're dating someone else. Yes, they're at the coffee shop. Yes, they're doing those things. But I can't take that personally. That's part of their journey. That's the way that they're sorting this out. That doesn't have to do with me. So instead, I'm going to focus on why does this breakup hurt like it does? What are my patterns? What does the other side of that look like when you start to self-reflect instead of project onto another person?
The control we have is what led to this person not feeling like I respected, appreciated? What led to the disconnect of emotional connection? It's the control we have to take accountability and responsibility of our part in it, right? So the journal entries shift into, why did I do that? What was my motivation to hold back in any way, shape, or form? If my partner is saying that he doesn't feel respected, what am I doing? Why am I holding back that? How could, right? So every action that he or she is representing there's an inner motivation or intention that is in us. It's the unresolved stuff in us, again, through the psyche, through the subconscious, unconscious. So to know thyself, to self-examine, to self-reflect is to go in over and over and over. This is not personal to me. It's not happening to me. It is happening for me so I can see myself and change the deepest habits and patterns. So what are the questions, the journaling questions of me? How far back does my anger go? So resentment and anger, when somebody hurts us, when somebody hurts our pride, it's a natural thing to be resentful.
Yeah.
Now, if we journal how resentful we are, and we build up all of the justification.
This son of a bitch.
To be bitter.
Yeah.
And then that is pulling in, oh my God, I can't believe he's with another girl. And now that's what we're focused on. Whoa.
Right.
You just missed it. You had an opportunity to go deeper into the depth and you missed it.
Because instead you wanted to have your rant session with your journal.
Because you're so prideful. The transparency and honesty is still focused out instead of in.
Yeah. One of the things that has been a big change for me in the last year is choosing in a difficult moment to feel the thing instead of become numb to the thing or dissociate from the thing. And in my last breakup a year ago, I really felt that strongly. I felt myself in a moment where that's been a pattern of mine, where whether it was big blow up fights with my parents when I was younger or with friends or whatever, I found that it was safer for me, instead of allowing my emotions to be entirely vulnerable in that situation, to become numb in it and to argue with my head instead of with my heart. And to, and what I felt like in that way is that it kept me from crying, getting angry, getting all of these things. And I would just I was like, nope, this allows me to keep a cool head. I don't have to feel all of those things. And we're just going to put those skeletons in the closet. And we're going to
go
keep
fight
it
a
pushing.
motherfucker.
We're just going to go fight about it. And I remember going into a moment where I needed to learn a big old family size lesson. And I remember in that moment starting to dissociate and starting to get numb. And I was like, no, we got to feel this one. Because if I don't, then I'm not going to learn the lesson. And this hurt, this pain, this shitty situation that I've created for myself is going to continue happening. If I don't learn from this, then this is not the last conversation like this that I'm going to have. As you're talking about journaling and talking about building up the resentment, building up the pain, building up the sadness, and allowing that monster to just continue getting bigger, versus looking inside and saying, this hurts a lot. What are the things? Like, what have I done? Why does this hurt so bad? What did I do to cause this hurt? Looking inside.
What am I not seeing?
One of the things that I'm curious about is where the balance lies between choosing to feel the thing and just being like, yes, I'm going to learn from this. Yes, this is difficult. It fucking sucks. Mm-hmm. where's the line between allowing yourself to feel that and then also using it as a tool and a learning experience to grow from?
Where is the line?
Yeah. Because to me, I think for myself, if I just allow myself to be, like, I think breakups are an easy example because most people have gone through them. If I allow myself to be sad or be resentful or be whatever that strong emotion is that's tied to that breakup and just keep building and building and building that, I don't see that as being helpful. At some point, there needs to be a transition to, how am I going to get better? How am I going to learn from this? How am I going to become a better person?
Yeah, it's that, what do I do with it?
Yeah. So for people who might be on the super, I'm going to feel this only and let that monster get big side of the spectrum, or for the people who are how I used to be, where I was like, nope, not going to feel any of this, just going to keep it pushing on to the next. Where does that middle zone lie where you can feel it, learn the lesson, and then start to grow from it and see that?
Yeah, so this is where it gets really hard, because what you're asking is, how do I move through this and learn from it so I don't have to repeat it? Mm-hmm. But those are territories we cannot go into alone, because we have our own protectors, managers, saboteurs, blind spots. So again, it's why journaling can kind of just spin us out, just like therapy can, if we don't have a guide and a mentor to take us and hold the space to guide us deeper inward. Because these energies of, when you understand the laws of energy, until they are moved through, they are going to be the frequency at which you are running everything through your perceptions or feeling in your body, right?
So is that where people start to get better? They start to harden. Is that how you start to see that in the world? Is those energies haven't been resolved yet?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's pause there and come back.
Okay. Yeah.
Because what we begin to see is the things that we're feeling are not the first time we're feeling it. So when we go, it's why people have growth periods through grief, loss, death, transformation, breakups, divorces, is because there's something innate in us that says, I never want to feel this again. So I'm going to do everything I can to change so I don't have to. But if you don't go to a depth, what you're doing is surface level bullshit that feeds the sense of, okay, I got it now, I did better. Sorry, 8 to 10 months into your next relationship, it all surfaces back again, and these habits and patterns are there because the thing that we're missing is the depth within the energies that still live in the body. So this pattern or habit or belief or whatever that has come from earlier times in your past is still the thing behind the thing that is ruling the subconscious, that is creating the actions and reactions.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a hard thing. Again, it's never on a surface level of the literal and physical world. We are energy beings, right? So if there is something unresolved, it will play out at some point. That's why empowerment work is healing work and healing work is empowerment work. Okay, now what are you going to do about it? So we have to go in to really follow the thread back so we can cut the cord.
Yeah.
Cut the cord and say, okay, I'm done with that now. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. I don't need to pull that into my life anymore. Got it. Lesson learned. Grieve it. Feel it. Actually cut it and be done with it.
Back to what we were talking about earlier. What an opportunity that those hard moments become if you look at it that way.
Yeah. Victory moments.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Because I mean, looking at it again, breakup lens, though it might bring up so many things that have been unresolved patterns, unresolved energy, like whatever that thing is, this person might have represented things that have been unresolved for so long, but this breakup finally represented all of the things. It allowed all of those to come to a boiling point. Or you got hurt, and now all of these things are at the surface, and now you get to deal. You have an opportunity to go back and deal with all of them and resolve all of that energy that you're
And that is
holding.
nothing we can do if we aren't in relationship.
It becomes an opportunity to either add to that mountain of unresolved energy, or it becomes an opportunity to look inward and resolve all of it.
It becomes the mirror. It becomes that in which we see ourselves. So breakup is such a great example, because partnership is the mirror to us. It's still about us. It's karma yoga of being in service to others so that we can serve ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can figure out that reciprocity, that I'm in service through my passion and then it's feeding my passion, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a breakup, it's where we use the term dark night of the soul. My last breakup was almost 2.5 year dark night of the soul. The soul. We're using soul language here. Literally, it was just a divorce. It's just whatever. He doesn't want to be with me anymore. That's fine. Life goes on. That's how most people would view it. Life goes on. For me, shattered, dark night, over 2 years. Now, why is that? It's because my identity, what I attached to that reflection, was who I had become. So my pain wasn't just about him or the relationship or the life that was ending. It was my identity that was attached to it. So do you see, if we don't go to the depths, we're missing it still, because there's a mirroring opportunity that is, who are you? I don't know who I am without this person.
Yeah.
I don't know what my personality is. I don't know what my identity is.
Right. And what are the things that, for me, I think one of the things that I seek in partners is, what are the things that I don't love yet about myself that I get to bring into my life through them? I feel like fun is missing in my life a lot of times.
Yeah.
I feel like excitement. I feel like play.
It's that thing that they turn on in you that is you, not them. But the illusion is it's them.
Yeah. And then, exactly. And then when that thing is gone, back to the identity thing, is like, oh, but I got to be fun for a little while. I got to be this, that, and the other thing. And like the parts of me that I don't feel like I've expressed yet or embodied yet, if they're gone, that means that that's gone in me now.
Yeah.
So, entirely. It's not just that they're gone. It's that a piece of you is feels like a gaping hole now too, because you were filling it with somebody else. Yeah.
Your pride is hurt. Where's security? How secure are you?
Yeah.
Right? Where's your esteem?
Mm-hmm.
So it brings everything up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's all the stuff.
Yeah. And then where I go, I love to talk about young. I love it so much. And as I'm writing my book right now, I'm writing the 4th V vision, right?
Okay.
And so that golden shadow and the saboteur of where we hold ourselves back. But it is so interesting within the golden shadow. It's that part of us that we are really afraid to admit, to live. And so we there's a part of us that keeps us exiled, that keeps it in the psyche, that keeps it in the shadows, right?
Yeah.
And so what's interesting with relationships too, and that we're talking about it, is that we attract who we want to be.
Wow.
So now let's take it to the depth of, maybe you attract because you see the aspects in someone else that are really in you, that your soul is calling you to pay attention to. But because you don't have the confidence or the readiness to do that, saboteur is going to take over for you. It's this identity of that's who I am. So when you lose that identity, I think dark nights of the soul hit even farther, because that golden shadow isn't tapped into yet. You haven't even Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The transference.
Yeah.
And it's like, until you find that, it's like, oh, it really is you. You really are the one you've been waiting for. It's not outside of you. And breakups, again, we can just miss it if we stay so literal about it and victim-y and poor me and
Yeah. Okay, let's
like,
take a break.
get over yourself.
I have to pee. I want to get into golden shadow. I think this is a beautiful concept that people don't think about, that I didn't think about. And the 4 V's when we get back.
Cool.
Hey guys, just a brief pause in the show to ask one quick favor. A lot of you guys who listen, even the day ones who listen every week, have yet to rate this show on their favorite platform. And so that's the one thing that I'm going to ask you guys. It really helps us grow the show. It helps us get awesome guests on the show. And if you could give us a 5-star rating on your favorite platform that you're listening on right now, it would probably take 10 seconds, but it would mean the world to me. And it'll really help us continue to make an awesome show for you guys. So if you don't mind, that's the only ask. We're not running any ads right now. We're not asking anything of you guys. We just want to be putting out a great show. So if you could go do that, that'd be awesome. And until then, let's get back to the show. So you were talking about the golden shadow. I want to take a minute to pause on that and kind of flesh that out a little bit. Paint a little bit of a picture about what the shadow is by itself and like where that lives in people's psyche or archetype or whatever language.
You know, you're like touching on sexy talk with me.
I know. and then where the golden shadow relates to that, because I think it's a really beautiful concept that lives in a blind spot for a lot of people.
Yeah, we are not taught these concepts for sure. Okay, so to fully get to the golden shadow, first it's to understand the forces of energy. So if we believe in good, we believe in bad. If we believe in high, we believe in low. If we believe in love, we believe in hate. There are opposing forces within energy. If we believe in God, we believe in the devil. Okay, so dark, light, opposing energy, it just balances itself out. It is the law of balance. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Carl Jung, do we need to explain who Jung is?
Sure.
So Jung is a psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, right, that studied with Freud. Mm-hmm. Spent his studentry under Sigmund Freud. And then they started having different agreements or disagreements and conflicts with different concepts. And what is it, 1913, that Jung finally broke off from Freud because he didn't believe that the sexual repressions were the main part of our, wounds of our psyche. Mm-hmm. And so Jung started going deeper into what he called the ego, the personal consciousness, and then the collective unconsciousness, the personal unconsciousness and the collective unconsciousness.
Okay.
And he started studying archetypal energies, energy patterns. And those were oftentimes the main forces for our intentions and our motivations. Mm-hmm. It wasn't so much in the sexual drive and what we repressed from childhood and our wounding.
Right.
Okay, so that's huge to understand. So within energy systems, that we are an energy being, we have these energy maps throughout our body, chakras. So in each center, there is a dark to a light. The dark shadows, which we are so familiar with the shadow self, I don't think a lot of people fully understand what it means, mm-hmm. is that they are the darker aspects that rule our subconscious, our personality, our actions, our behaviors, our motivations. They're often in the light of how to protect and where to gain power. Okay, protect and power.
Okay.
On the light side, the empowered side, it's how to be in the graces, how to be in right relationship, right action, right speech, capital R. Mm-hmm. This is like the 8 limbs. This is like the Buddhist path. Any spiritual path Christianity, Catholicism, any mystical path will put you into this light side, light and dark. Okay, so Jung spoke about the shadow self and then the golden shadow. And the golden shadow is where we still keep ourselves small and hidden from ourself because we fear our highest potential. We fear the highest potency of love, of God, of universe, of source creation. So when people start speaking of highest version of themselves and they're speaking on source creation. It's a frequency that is so high that we fear it.
So a golden shadow might be something that you want so bad that you're willing to admit.
Yes, because the saboteur or the fear comes in and says, "Who am I?"
And that's
ridiculous.
That's where the shadow and the golden shadow comes in. It's all of the things that hold us back, protect us. It's the survival things.
It's the pride.
Yeah, and it's being applied to something that we really want.
Yeah, now where the dark arts come in, where the dark energies come in is here and through our system. Okay? So what will people say? So let's say, okay.
Can we use an example again? I think that this is super helpful. You know this better than anyone. My dream is to be a podcaster and a writer. Let's run this through that lens.
Okay.
And you know enough about me. We can air out some of the specific examples that we need to here.
Okay.
But yeah, let's help paint the picture.
Okay. So the passion that is the vision of being a podcaster.
Yeah.
Now, what comes with that? What comes with that podcaster? Because it's not just a small vision.
Yeah.
It is a big thing on big levels with big ripple effects.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so there's a bigness to where your vision and your reach hits.
Right.
That's the energy that you can speak on a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels exciting. I think that when I think about like, if I had all of the money in the world, all of the resources, if it was impossible to fail, what is like the thing that I would do? And it's getting to wake up every day and allow my curiosity to just flourish and find people who their curiosity got really good at one thing. So I get to go talk to this guy about relationship dynamics, or I get to go talk to this guy about health and wellness. I get to go talk to this guy about building brands. It's the ability to fully express my creativity and also to have this platform where I get to collect all of these amazing people like yourself who had this calling and they were like, fuck everything else. I'm going to do this thing. And I would love to be able to do that because it ignites my version of that for myself. Like I want to be that person also. And I think that so many people, whether they found it or not, have that calling also. And I want my ripple effect to be that people connect to these people's stories. They connect to the things that they say. They connect, that makes their lives better. And that ultimately they say, fuck it. I'm going to go pursue my calling too. I'm going to go become one of these people because I know that that is the highest version of myself.
You got it.
That's what I want my ripple effect to be.
Now, why you?
What do you mean by that?
Why you?
Why am I called to it?
No, why would you be the one to do that? And you don't have to answer, right? It's that question.
Yeah.
It is that question within the golden shadow. Why you? Who do you think you are to get to do that? Why would people listen to you? That's the moment you go, oh, fuck. Oh, man. Yeah, why me?
Is that the
Who do I think I am?
Is that the void is that where the fork in the road is?
That is why it stays in the shadows. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my shadow moment.
Okay.
And I have to put it back through my death of 1,000 deaths and my rebuilding. So there is a collective of psychotherapists that work within the music industry. And one of my greatest visions is to be the behind the scenes person that people hire to be the therapist on tour. Because by nature, being on tour knocks you so far out of balance, and you're expected to perform and be at your greatest for others, and your circadian rhythm's off, everything's off. You're away from your family, everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So the original drummer of Maroon 5, I reached out to him, I sent him an email, and he emailed me back. And we had like a couple hour, 2-3 hour conversation over the phone. And Ryan asked me specifically, Summer, why you? I crumbled. It was that moment, Nelson Mandela, where somewhere in me, I knew, well, why not me? But I couldn't answer. My throat closed. I could not answer. I know why. I could answer now. But 2 years ago, when Ryan asked me, I had nothing. Because it was still so far in my shadows. I was still working on this identity that was, no, it's someone else, it's not me. Mm. Now, I was listening to my calling the whole time, but we have to be right in our alignment before we can act in the world. Because if we're not in a right alignment, we're acting from force. And that will never work. It will always crumble. It's not sustainable. Dark arts will seep in. Dark energies will seep in.
Can't be a push energy. It has to be a pull.
It has to be a flow. So I had work to do. And 6 months later, I emailed Ryan again. Thank you so much for that question. You don't even know what you exposed. Like, thank you.
Life happens for us.
Mm-hmm. So again, if we don't do the muscle work, the strength and endurance to go, whoa, there's something in me I'm not seeing. I just collapsed. My pride just got hurt. That didn't feel safe. Doubt.
Yeah.
Right? And then as we move through these centers of these dark arts, it's anger. You know, how do we project that? It's not me, it's them. Right? How do we force expression of look at how good I am, how amazing things? How do we hold on to our power of creating this identity outside of us, but really it's inside of us? We're so insecure. Right?
Holy cow. Yeah, that question. Yeah, why you?
Yeah, and if you don't have the foundation to build the pyramid up, it crumbles. We got to know the vision, and then we got to work backwards from there. And it's not just on the doing level, it's in the energy alignment.
Yeah.
From the base root of who are you? I am. Root chakra, I am.
Yeah. Chris Griffin is one of the podcasters that I look up to. And one of his mentors gave him a lens of looking through the world where he said that a lot of people live in this pattern of it's like do, be, have. It's like if you do the thing, then you can be the person, then you'll have the thing.
Yeah, it's out of order.
It's out of order. It's like you got to be the thing, and then you're going to do the thing, and then you'll have the thing that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't have the thing that you're looking for, you're still the person that you're supposed to be, and you're doing the things that you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So by nature of that, you have the thing that you're supposed to have.
Yeah.
Which is probably alignment.
All alignment.
So it sounds to me like down, maybe upstream of this question, why you, there's this foundational work of what is that calling? What is aligned in pursuit of that calling? And then once you figure out, it sounds like that question of why you comes after you've identified, I know that I want to be a therapist for musicians on tour because of the ripple effect that they have to all of the people that they impact. But you have to get there first. You have to find that thing first. Mm-hmm. So once people get to that point where they come to this crossroads of, and I've been here. I'm here right now. Mm-hmm. where a year ago, maybe today, honestly, I was sitting in front of my computer. I was watching Sunday Cleaning Coffee Club, which I had just found that day. This DJ set that this dude does at this coffee shop. It's in the morning. I think that they do serve alcohol, but the whole thing is like, we're going to get in a really creative space. We're going to have the best versions of ourselves here to connect instead of our 2 a.m. cross-eyed versions that we usually try to connect with over the bar. And we're just going to have a good time. And
we're just going to be.
As I was sitting there, I saw the entire vision of whatever my calling was. And I don't know why it was that moment. I don't know what it was about that video. I have no idea. Shout out to Mike O'Leary, by the way. You're the guy. But I was sitting there. I'm like, okay, I need to start my solo podcast, stop bullshitting myself. From that solo podcast, I would love to make it about presence and pursuing your calling and like finding present moments along the journey that you're supposed to be on. So I'm going to do in-person events like these coffee shop DJ sets where people can have present moments with the best versions of themselves instead of the worst versions of themselves. And then someday I'm going to take those in-person events and the ethos behind those and the podcast and a blog and like all of this messaging. And I'm going to create an in-person coffee shop where people can feel all of that in one place, where they can go on their first date, where they can create their first album, where they can record their first podcast, record their, do all of the things, just this hyper creative present location. Hit me like that. And I've lived with that vision for the last year now. And one of the beautiful things about finding that finally is that I feel like I finally have the thing to channel my energy into. What I didn't know came with that is the cognitive dissonance that comes when you channel your energy towards anything besides that. And that has been such an eye-opener for me, because it's this question, why me, that I think is the next phase of actually making this thing happen. Because it's all those things, right? I look at that and I go, okay, yes, this is my dream, but financially I need to be able to support myself before this thing catches on. And I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be the starving artist. I don't want to be all of these different things, but I want this other thing to happen. Who am I to think that if I just quit everything right now, that this message is strong enough for people to relate to? Who am I to think that I'll be the one to have a video go viral, or that guests will say yes to me as opposed to all of the other invites that they have? Who am I? Like, that question has so many layers to it. And I think this is resonating with me so heavily because that's exactly the crossroads I'm at right now. Mm-hmm. And how does somebody sitting at that crossroads intentionally start to foster their self-belief, to become aligned? How do they make sure that the good things pour into that void instead of the shadow, the doubt, the survival? I want the right things to be poured in my cup right now. I feel like I need it.
Yeah, thought you'd never ask. So the vision, the thing that just turns you on, lights you up, that's the peak. That's a peak experience when that happens. Now, to get to a peak, you have to build the pyramid. The widest structure of the pyramid is the foundation. To me, the way that I have been given my visions of how to teach it is by the 4 V's. The 4th V is the vision for a reason. Because if we can't hold the structure of the alignment while life is happening, while we're going through breakups, while we're having sexual urges, while we are trying to provide and we're in survival because we have bills, and if we can't pay our bills, I mean, what do we got to move back home with our parents? Okay, life is happening while we're trying to strive for the peak experience of it.
So we need to build that conviction in our alignment.
We need to build the who are you and why you. And that comes with, what are your values, your virtues? How do you get out of the default, the I, me, my network, the survival network, the survival of who you've been in the past. So now is where we can kind of insert a quick little, from the time we are in our womb to the time now, let's just say present moment now, we go through a learning process. When people start working with someone like me, then what they begin to dissolve is all that they picked up of who am I. We have to dissolve that and break that down, because who you've been is not going to get you to that peak experience, I promise you, because that's where your trauma and your wounds and your lack and your insecurity and your beliefs that you're not good enough, it all exists in that pre-learning. So then we have to unlearn, and then empowerment phase, we have to relearn. We have to relearn our structure. We have to relearn our autonomy. We have to rewrite our story. We have to bring in new characters because the old ones don't fit. They are a reflection of the old you. That's not who the peak experience is. So, sorry, bye-bye, right?
Yeah.
And that could be family members. So
Yeah.
if we're not all updating together and on the same value and kind of vibration, sometimes we have to step away. It doesn't mean we have to divorce. Doesn't mean we have to cut people out of our life. That would be kind of immature sometimes. It means we have to figure out who we are while we're in relationship with them.
The 4 V's is, I think, a really helpful lens. It's one of the first things that you and I worked on together as we were dissolving.
Yeah. Metamorphosizing.
That makes me a butterfly, baby. Got some tattoos about it.
Yeah. Muhammad Ali got it right.
Yeah. What are the 4 V's? Let's do a little quick masterclass on those.
Yeah.
And maybe in an actionable way where people can journal about it, write about it, like understand and ask some questions about it maybe.
Okay, let's do it. 4 V's: values, virtues, victories, vision. Values are, a lot of people think of it as like, what are you willing to die for? But it's more exciting to say, what are you willing to live for? What is the thing that lights you up, that gives you a depth of significance? Not just meaning, not just purpose, but significance, right? So, that looks like so many different things to so many different people.
For sure.
This is the law of relativity. It's relative.
Yeah.
But what you attach to is personal to you. Okay, so what are your values? The thing that gives you significance and that you attach your meaning and purpose and value to.
What might be a couple examples for people who are using this as an exercise?
So, what is the thing that lights you up, first of all? What is the thing that if nobody's around, you're going to feel kind of childish and giddy about?
2008 Taylor Swift songs.
There you go. Now, if that puts you into an alignment of value and significance, rock it. Right? Roll down the windows, turn it up, okay? And do that every time, because you just found that thing that's going to put you back into alignment.
What would you, for a couple examples, what are some of the things that fall into the value V for you?
For me, my kids.
Gives you significance, purpose?
It gives me that depth of how significant life is in the role I have as a mother. A lot of times when I'm making those reels, I put my highest value first, and that's my kids. And if I die and my kids have those reels, then I can go on teaching them and guiding them. Like, again, if they can listen to that and find the value, I'm doing it for them. My value is like, here's why I'm doing this. Right? So my kids, another value, this is ridiculous. I can't believe I'm going to admit this. I'm going to do it, is dark, warm solitude. Whether that is in the shower, sitting in the bathtub and just feeling the grace of the warmth and the darkness, or it's my heated bed, because you don't need a man if you have a heated bed.
We can outsource this.
Malachi knows it's one of my greatest ways to show me love is, Mom, I turned the heated bed on for you.
Oh, what a guy.
And he'll say, do you want it on pH? Preheat? I'm like, yeah, every time.
Hell yeah.
What number do you want it on? And then we get in bed and we cuddle. So any warmth and darkness and just that quiet solitude. One of my highest values is that inner stillness.
Okay.
So for me, it's darkness and warmth.
Got you.
Okay. So those are my two highest values. Now, outside of that, being in nature and really holding, the other value that I have are those mirror effects.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hang out with a lot of people because there's not a lot of people that, one, have gone farther than I've gone spiritually in my inner circle. And so the ones that are there are the ones that hold me accountable and call me out and aren't afraid to say, hey, you're kind of fucking up right now. And I'm going to listen to them more than I'm going to listen to me.
Back to the circle that you talked about earlier.
Yeah, the number one thing, know who your friends are.
Yeah. Okay.
And hold yourself to an esteem.
Right.
That's value.
Okay. Virtues.
Virtues, this is bringing sacred language back.
Sacred what?
Language.
Okay.
This is where we take our shoes off in reverence and we go deeper into the sacred language of the soul. So virtue is your morals, your ethics, your inner guidance of how you hold yourself that has, this is the law of cause and effect. Okay? Values, law of relativity. For me, this is how I see it and have heard it.
Yeah.
Virtues, law of cause and effect of what I put out is what I get back. What I do has an effect on every single layer, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
So is that asking yourself, what do I want to put out? What matters to me to put out?
It is how I hold myself, knowing that there's a consequence, a great consequence, dark into light. So courage, wisdom, fortitude, temperance, love, compassion, kindness, honor, right? These are virtues by which you claim and you know. And if I know my fortitude, what gives me courage and strength, and I tap into that for alignment, it's a quick guide because I've done the work to discover and claim it, nothing can pull me out. So if somebody says, hey, Summer, we've got this amazing opportunity, but it's going to cost you ... I quickly have to run it through my values and virtues first before I answer. I have to quickly align myself with is that the right move? Because if it's not, I'm acting from a different survival energy, pattern,
right,
archetype. So would this be a best benefit? My values, run it through my kids. Is it what's best for my youngest child at home because he's the one that's still dependent? First, sit in the dark and the warmth. Second, and bring in my virtues. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's the greatest guide. Now before we go to the other two V's, is there anything?
I think you gave a good list of virtues that people are familiar with. Honesty, integrity, love, passion, whatever the things are. I think it's easy to just think of a word bank, right? And say, these are the things I hear all the time that are supposed to be the things I'm going to say and make me a good person.
Yeah.
You said something about claiming
the
virtues that you've committed to and that you embody.
Yeah.
How do people go from these are the words that I've heard have a good meaning to them and I'm supposed to be like to I claim these?
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking that. It's to feel it. It's to have this sacred wisdom. It's to have that energy alive in your system so you feel it. It's pulsating its own rhythm in you. It is not a concept. It is not an analytical, logical concept. It is a aliveness in you that is pulling you, guiding you, directing you.
Yeah. For me, that the two that come to mind are honesty and love. Like when I think about honesty, it's got this physical thing for me because my people-pleasing nature in the past led me to sacrifice honesty in some ways, where I thought that by telling a half-truth or creating an illusion or doing something for somebody was protecting them.
Oh, yeah.
It was making their life better. It was making things easier for me. It was making things easier for them. When in all reality, it's all bullshit and it's manipulative.
Yeah, and you're betraying yourself.
And them. And where I get this like guttural feel about honesty is that for me, honesty is one of the only things that I think can forge a path to the life that I'm supposed to live. Because if I'm not honest, then I'm going to create an illusion for myself that I can never really get to the real thing that I'm supposed to get to. If I'm not honest with people, then the wrong people are going to be in my circle, and I'm going to miss out on having the right ones in my circle. Yeah. I'm going to be doing the wrong thing. I'm going to be taking the wrong actions. I'm going to be fucking the wrong things up and getting good at the wrong things.
You're going to be building the momentum to the force that is present, which is the opposite of honesty.
Right.
Which is I'm not good enough to be transparent in who I am and what I believe.
Right. So that for me is like, bang, virtue.
Nice.
Love is the same way. Don't need to get all into those, but that feeling is like, I think that is a helpful thing. It's like, So maybe yes, word bank, but then say which of these are the ones that
how do you have its own breath force with it? How do you feel it in your breath and your heartbeat?
Yeah.
You claim it in the body. You bring it below the head.
Mm-hmm.
Love is a tricky one. Love is one of the highest concepts. This is, again, spiritual language. Mm-hmm. Take your shoes off and have a deep reverence for it. This is where Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad come into the conversations, because unconditional love, as humans, there's a paradox that we have conditions. Now, how can you unconditionally love someone when they're the ones that hurt you? So love as a virtue is one of those things. Be careful. You're going to get the lesson, because you want to learn love as a virtue. You've got to learn all the facets of it. When your pride is hurt, how do you still love?
Yeah. When
your security is damaged and your power is taken from you, disempowerment, trauma, it's a disempowerment, no control. How do you still love? It is one of the greatest ones. And I agree, one of the highest virtues.
Yeah. Okay. So virtues.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. So now we're shifting. Okay. These 4 V's are a magic sauce that go together. It's the recipe. As we go into virtues, now we're working with neuroplasticity in the brain, neuroscience.
Okay.
Right? So we have a default mode network that keeps us in the negativity bias. It keeps us in the recursive, ruminating, obsessive thinking. It keeps us in the autobiographical of I.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did I do wrong? What do I need to do better? I.
Yeah.
So it's like that thing of people give you 10 compliments or 10 negative things. Oh my gosh, what is it? 10 compliments and 1 negative thing, and you're holding on to that 1 negative thing.
This is inside of virtues still?
Victories.
Victories, okay.
Yeah, shifting into victories.
Yeah.
So the brain is going to focus on the negative thing instead of like, oh man, they said I did a good job. Mm. Can I accept that compliment? No, because I'm so focused on the other 10 things that I didn't get right.
Right.
So victories is part of that strength and endurance training of switching the lens between what is working and over what is not working. So we begin to form new neural pathways of celebrating ourselves. Who gives ourselves self-praise? Who really feels the success of the littlest things? That's in your quote with Chris, is be. Yeah. First comes just being. Mm-hmm. And that is enough. And how can I celebrate myself in being? My biggest victories in my being is when I literally carve out the time to write. It's such a victory.
Yeah.
And all I'm doing is being myself with nobody around, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's going to lead into the doing and the have, right?
But feeling that as a victory as opposed to
here
we are sitting down again because we're supposed to, and I'm checking the box and
forcing. Yeah. Anytime there's force, there's going to be resistance. It's going to come from a different energy. So Victories retrains your brain into the unfoldings of all of the possibilities, and it gets just more and more exciting. And this is the first place I start. I tell people, practice gratitudes in the morning. They can be the same every morning. Mm-hmm. They don't have to be new. And victories at night. Before you go to bed, a little journal, a little piece of paper by your bedstand, and just 1 to 3. Here's what I appreciate. Mm-hmm. Here's what I did right. Here's my success. And for people that are moving through depression, heartache, suffering, anxiety, it's the littlest of small things.
I made my bed today.
I did the laundry. I organized my house. I cleaned out my closet. I listened to the little nudge that was saying, do this, and I did that. That's massive victory, by the way. Mm-hmm. Listening to the little thing that you know you've been doing, but you haven't been doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the third V.
For people who are, again, I'm picturing myself journaling some of these and trying to get myself to write them down. What's helpful here if people are trying to write down some of the victories, either that they feel like they have had already, or maybe that they had today, and then the ones that they want to continue to look out for?
What felt good in my day? Where am I proud of myself? What went right today? It's really simple. Mm-hmm. What am I proud of and what went right? What felt good?
Okay.
What did I do different?
Okay.
Sometimes we can be in a conversation and know that our energy in the conversation is different than what. Maybe I held myself a little stronger in a conversation rather than, go into a collapse.
Yeah.
Right? So what did I do right? What felt better? Or where can I just celebrate feeling good?
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Love it.
And by the way, the law that goes with this, law of vibration.
When you allow yourself to feel your victories,
mm-hmm. It increases, if we put our thought pattern into our successes, into celebrating ourselves, mm-hmm. we, by proxy, are pouring that into the body, and it is the law at which we're vibrating at. If we do that at night, 5 to 10 minutes before we go to sleep, those neural pathways, when we go into rest mode and the default network turns off, we've already planted the seeds within our subconscious and unconscious to rewire and shift the focus to what is working.
So you're waking up the next morning going like, I'm going to kill it again today.
Gratitudes. Now let's start with gratitudes. The two together are so powerful because we have an automatic default network. We are based on habits. We are creatures of habits. So the first thing in the morning is generally the thing that isn't working. It's the lack. It's the to-do list. It's the thing you didn't get done yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's the pain. It's the hurt. Mm-hmm. It's the negativity. Right? So those things go together.
Okay.
Okay. Law of vibration, we start increasing our frequency and what we're vibing at. Fourth V, vision. Peak experience, law of magnetic attraction. It's a law of attraction. And we've kind of already hit on visions pretty deep. That golden shadow of where do we keep hidden aspects, our positivity, our creativity, the thing that we really want most, but we only see in other people, not ourselves.
What are some of the questions to this? Visions was a hard one for me because I bullshit myself a lot when it comes to this. And I think that visions, especially today, are under assault by social media, by opinions, by groupthink, by so many things where, I think in social media, it's like your vision is that you're going to have a Bugatti and that you're going to be able to travel wherever you want and that you're going to have have all of these things. And your vision should be that you're an entrepreneur and you ditch the 9 to 5 and you do this and that. And you've got all of the partners that you want to have and all of these things, right? It's like this force feed. Here's what success looks like. Here's what your vision should be. Here's the mountaintop. And I think that inherently a lot of us know that that's bullshit. But there are aspects of that we allow to creep in. And I'm curious for that vision. To me, it seems like there's questions that you can ask yourself to narrow in like, no, that is a vision, but what is my vision for what I want? And we had a conversation this week where you said, okay, you seem like you're getting close to this vision thing. Now, what are you willing to sacrifice for it? But I'm curious, if somebody's trying to figure out what truly is their vision, what are the things that they can write down as bullet points here? What are the questions that they can ask people, or what are the questions that they can ask themselves to start to narrow in on that a little bit?
Yeah, so you're a little ahead of the game, right? So you're at the point of now, what are you willing to sacrifice?
Yeah.
Because there always is a sacrifice for the greater gain. How serious are you?
Mm-hmm.
And then universe is going to pour in these opportunities where we can sabotage or we can go into the dark arts. Okay, so that's a little further down the path to somebody that's just starting.
Okay.
And what I would say to somebody that is just starting is to invite your own inner child, go back to 5-year-old you, 4-year-old you, and just spend a little time in your inner child that is the playful, like full of wonder, doesn't care about what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
And just allow that and you, the child in you and the who you are now, to just dream. Like you have to take off this restriction that society and culture and family has taught of how to do it safe. And the child in us doesn't operate that way.
Yeah.
You know, they don't operate on security and all of that. So really tap into the child and then just turn on imagination.
Okay.
And I would create a few different visions, right? Before you really hone in on one. And it's to really include the senses. What would it feel like? Who would be with you? Where would it be located? What would it smell like? What foods would there? What would you be wearing? See yourself wearing that now.
Is this some of those like what would your perfect day look like exercises start to come in?
Sure.
I think with the vision thing, my brain's defaults want to go straight to career with this. One of the things, tap into your inner child. It's like, well, I don't want to be a firefighter anymore. I don't want to play for the Patriots anymore. I'm good. Like my fucking shoulder hurts, dude.
Yeah.
Me and Lil Drew wanted different things.
Yeah.
But I think like for vision, what are some of the other things outside of Western American mind goes, I want to be a insert profession. Yeah. I don't think that visions is just that though. Like what are the things that are not that incorporate it or that make up the vision piece?
What are the things that make up the vision piece?
Yeah.
Values and virtues.
Well, I think my question is more along the lines of, for me, when you say vision, I immediately go, like my brain goes podcaster writer, because those are careers, and inherently in those things, there are some benefits that I want to go for. But I would imagine that part of that vision is also, for me, a partner that loves me, that I love back, and friends that are around and excited to hang out. And
that's where you pull in the senses.
Okay.
What does it feel like? Who's there with you? What do you see? Okay, in your vision, what do you see? Look around. What do you hear? Is there laughing? Is there music? Is there waves? What do you smell? Is it incense?
Grandma's pumpkin bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my partner just made pumpkin bars and brought it to an event. So we pull in the senses and we can go deeper in the imagination of that, and it begins to fold into this thing, right? So in your coffee shop idea of having that moment where people are in collective community and belonging, you can take it times 10 as you go into the senses with it.
Right.
Right. And so some of the modalities that I use in working with people is building that foundation of what are you telling yourself? What's the meaning you're giving it? What's the cognitive attachment that is pouring into the body? And what's the automatic body response because you've had the same neural circuitry firing off all the time? Okay, so we have to know how the mind and body work. That's one modality. That's where we pull in stoicism, right?
Yeah.
And then it's to have these meditation practices, these breath practices, these internal practices that hold us accountable and keep us in that energy, or shift through anything that is out of balance to bring it back into balance so you stay in alignment with the top peak.
Yeah.
So once you create the vision and turn on the inner child and just let that child be free in playfulness and imagination and not worry about people saying that's ridiculous, you're actually never going to do that. That's too hard. You don't have the money for that. So then we have to go into these practices, because then I promise you, once you reach through the highest peak point, all the things in your energy body, all the things that you've learned in your past are going to come up. Now it's a matter of the virtues and the values of discipline, courage, strength, over and over and over. Knowledge, wisdom, love, for self. How do I honor myself? And I honor myself when I align with my vision. If it doesn't fit that, run it through, it's out. I'm not doing it. That becomes your internal guidance. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So this inner navigation system, you set the north node, you set your compass to north by creating the vision, claiming that. Law of attraction, what you put out is what you get back.
Okay.
But you can't set a vision and then still be vibrating at, I don't really like myself. It won't work.
Right.
They have to go in order.
Got you.
They have to be playing out while life is happening.
Yeah. It's doing the...
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, while the dark arts are also trying to say, no, you're too good for that. Do you see how that person just disrespected you? Right? No, you deserve better than that. You're better than that. Fuck them. It will tear you down, and it will tear down everything that you've been trying to build.
So bringing it back to alignment before action.
Every time.
Where does that fall in with the 4 V's?
It is the 4 V's. The alignment process is the 4 V's, and learning how to bring it into the body so strong that you are flowing from that place and not forcing anything. It's where that momentum and internal flow begins to move through you. It moves you because you're so connected and guided. It's energy. There's very little resistance in that place of flow, because you're just like, okay, the current's taking me now. Synchronicities are happening.
Right.
I'm watching this stuff play out, right? So it's like maybe in you, again, this big question, can I be here? Can I be in Billings and build it? The answer is actually yes. You can be anywhere in the world and build it if you understand these concepts, because synchronicities and things are going to begin to guide you. And then you're just going to all of a sudden meet this person that's going to introduce you to this person, right? So, or maybe the sacrifice is for me to get outside of myself and stop taking myself so personal and stuck in my traumas and wounds. I actually have to go on a hero's journey.
Right.
I have to go live somewhere else so I can go through my own metamorphosis pain period.
Yeah.
Isolation and, right?
Yeah. That's amazing. I love it. Yeah. Well, I think this has been a really cool way to cover so many of the different things that have been very helpful lenses in my life. And we talked a little bit before about this, that the goal of this episode specifically was to give people some tools to look at their life and say, we're all going through different things. We've all got some version of a calling that's probably a lot different than the person sitting next to us. But what are some principles that we can use to start to look inward and figure out, who am I? What matters to me?
Yeah, and ask the right questions.
Yeah. So I think that that's a really beautiful, I think that those are really beautiful tools, and I hope that they're as value for other people as they've been for me. And I would love to be able to jump back in and do some stuff, do another episode on focus on relationships, do one and focus on
it's an important
career
one.
Or addiction. Like, there's so many places that we can do this. So I would love very much an open invite to do all of the things. And yeah, whatever's present for you at the time. Cause I think that it'd be very, very helpful for people to listen to. And that's kind of the whole goal. So
yeah, addiction would be a fun one.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Well, I have a couple people that I promised I'd ask you some questions to.
Yes.
We're bringing it back. So we're going to end with a couple questions that are not from me. I feel like I'm in a very privileged position a lot of times where I get to let my creativity flow on these podcasts and ask all of my own questions. There are so many episodes that I've watched, either rewatching my own or watching other people's, where I'm like, ask this one thing, but they're not going to. It's so frustrating. But again, you, so many of the things that you have taught me are things that I brought into other conversations with my family, my friends. It's influenced the advice that I've given or advice that I've passed along. So many of them have not had the chance to ask you questions personally. So I've got a couple for you.
I love this. It's fun.
Okay.
This is the game. We're back in the game.
We're back in it. Okay. The first one is from my mother. She says, hi.
Hi, Mom.
My mom said, it's very difficult for people who have never experienced therapy at all or have experienced it in a bad way to find a therapist that is a good match for them. If you're not lucky like me and get introduced through friends of friends and have this just like, okay, clearly it's this person. How do you ask the right questions, or how do you begin that search to find somebody who is a good match for you?
That's such a valuable question. Because again, therapy can do more harm.
Right.
Interview them. Yeah, it's to get outside yourself and know that you are calling upon the person that is going to mirror you. And if they don't have the wisdom and the knowledge, it's okay to let them go. So the first thing is in the consult call, I always, I do a free, 45 to 60 minute consult call now. And when I'm getting to listen to them to see if I can be the one to help guide them, if they're going to be willing to do the work, but also I give them the chance to ask me the questions, because that is just as important. Is yes, I'm the professional. Yes, I have years of experience in education, but it's not about me. None of it's about me. So if you are not finding the person that is for you, about you, it's not your person. You have to interview them to know that. You have to talk before and not just be like, well, they're the professional. It's such a baby boomer concept. Mm-hmm. The generation of the baby boomer of, well, this person has more power and I'm just going to trust everything they say.
They're wearing a white lab coat. They must know what they're talking about.
Exactly. Name tag. I can wear glasses.
Yeah.
But that's not it. The guru is inside of you, and that person is going to be working for you.
Yeah.
So one, also going back is, are you seeing your own therapist? How much work have you done? I think that is a fair and valid question, because you can only go as far as you've gone. And I want you to take me to the depths of healing and empowerment. So I would start there. What
are maybe 3 questions that somebody could ask as they're in that consult or as they're interviewing different therapists to figure out who that mentor or that therapist is going to be for them?
I would personally ask their experience with some of the things that you're going through. Yeah, because again, I would want to know how they approach their own personal humanness. Mm-hmm. So, do you go to therapy? Have you gone to therapy?
Right.
I would just ask that.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask if they feel confident or how confident they feel with guiding me to the next level. And I would put it in those terms. Because again, we can get into a power dynamic, differential of power, where they have more power and we're just going in underneath them. But that's not necessarily it. Yes, they want to hold the power as the professional. They're holding the structure for you. But they're also giving you the sense of empowerment. So how are they going to empower you?
Okay.
So maybe the question of that is, can you help me in my healing process and know what to do with it to be a stronger, more effective human?
Yeah. I really how are you going to help me empower? How are you going to help me with empowerment?
Yeah. Is that even in your language as a therapist?
Right.
Oftentimes, no, it's not what we're taught.
Yeah. Okay.
In trauma work, not necessarily.
Okay. One more.
One more question. Ooh. Okay, so this is one I get often. Is one, I don't believe that I know the answers. My role is to help guide you in so you can tune into your inner healer, inner guidance, inner navigation system. So first, if somebody has all the answers and there's like a egoic, again, that power, I'd be careful of that. But here's a quick question that you can kind of suss that out is with finances. People often ask me, not only how much does it cost, but how often do I need to be coming in? I can't answer that. So if somebody tells you you need to do this, this, and this, that to me is okay, I want to know more. So cost is important because you're investing in yourself. It's a reciprocity of investment. That costs money. You're going to pay for a higher amount of wisdom, knowledge, and experience. So I love myself so much, I'm going to sacrifice for the greater gain. That's part of all of that.
Yep.
But I can't dictate people's finances, and I could never tell them that they have to come once a week.
Right.
So that to me is a quick suss out question of one, I can explain once a week builds momentum and concepts, and once a month or every other couple months is kind of a maintenance. It's hard to go deep in. So I can guide that, but I would never dictate finances and expectations.
Got it.
So I would ask, what's your expectation for me?
Okay.
As your client.
With a lens of looking at, are they open to the idea that this could be a flowy process and this could be...
Where's reverence and respect and honor for my process in this?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. That's super helpful. Okay. There you go, Mom.
I hope it's helpful.
I just got to find Summer through friends though, so haha. Okay. This one's from my pops. He also says hi. He's a big fan of you. He says, what are your recommendations for helping serious types, people who tend to be deep thinkers, serious, maybe not have as much fun in life? He might be talking about me in this question. What are your recommendations for helping serious types carry a lighter load and enjoy life?
Yes. So serious types carry a lighter load and enjoy life. To lighten up, tap into the child.
Yeah.
Well, first we got to know what the out of balance is. What is the block to that? What is the belief system? So again, we're starting with that foundation of what is out of balance and what is blocking the enlightenment, the joy, right? Mm-hmm. One of my closest, dearest friends, he's one of my mirrors. You've heard me talk about him before.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things that he did for me was humor. He brought humor in. And sometimes for homework, I'll give an assignment of listen to this comedian or, it's like, where are you bringing laughter and joy in?
Yeah.
Sometimes it just has to be that, like, go take yourself to the silliest moment or, again, tap into that child of it's this process and there's no one thing, but it's this process of not taking yourself so seriously. If we're going to a yoga class and we can't talk, we can't speak, that to me it's so silly. It's like, why can't people laugh? Why can't we throw in a joke every now and then when we're in a hard pose?
This is touching on one of my most ridiculous, embarrassing moments of all time.
Did you get reprimanded for?
No, the opposite. I was doing at-home yoga with my ex-girlfriend at the time. And I was in 75 hard. So this was like my second workout of the day. Yeah. And I'm like, this is serious. It's my second 45-minute workout.
Oh, Pops is talking about you.
He is talking about me. And I was like, at the time in my life, I was stressed with work and all these different things. And yoga was this thing where I was like, it's my escape. It's this Zen thing. It's this and that. So I was really trying to get that out of it. Mm-hmm. But we're like watching a YouTube video doing like bedroom, like carpet yoga. And we're doing these like goofy ass poses and I'm kind of falling and she's looking at me like I've got my eyes closed and I'm like trying to be all zen about the thing. And I hear her just go like, I look over and she's fucking laughing at me and she's like mocking me over there. And I just like, in this moment, she's having such a good time just laughing and being like, yeah, we're going to stretch for a little while, dude. But like, let's have a little bit of fun with this. Yeah. And I'm like, no, it must be serious. We must be zen about this.
Did you get mad?
Yeah, I got fucking mad at the time. I'm like, you're fucking up my zen, dude.
Your pride was hurt.
Yeah. And then now, like, looking back, I'm like, you stupid idiot. We have a little fun.
Yeah. And it really is that. It's like, how can we just do things for the enjoyment?
Yeah.
How do we, again, tap into the child? How do we do the playfulness?
Yeah.
And that is its own art. And that's hard. It's hard when the thing behind the thing is the motivating factor to do anything.
Right.
Whether that is fear of failing, disappointing others, not being good enough, right? Self-doubting. So
I think baked into his question, I would imagine, is a layer of probably a bit of seeking a bit of advice for himself, where as a father, as a friend, as a mentor of somebody who is serious and doesn't live lightly, I suppose, what is advice that you would give to that person who is trying to help that person who carries a large load and is very serious?
Play more. Where's the play?
So you'd tell my dad, for example, ask Drew where the play is, or take him out to the fucking park or something.
Yeah, where do you want to go play with Drew?
Go
play catch in the front yard.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a park and swing. It does not have to be big. It does not have to cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Play a game of sorry. It's play more.
Okay.
Right? So we lighten ourselves up when we don't take ourselves so serious. And if we're in the force of becoming something, what are we doing? You know, we forget to laugh and we forget to be silly and we forget to just find humor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, again, that's what's so cool in an intimate relationship is you're the one I get to just be silly with and you still accept me.
Yeah.
I get to fart and pick my nose and you still accept me and make fun of me and I can actually see why you're making fun of me because I'm not taking it so personally.
Right. Yeah.
Like, yeah, just play more.
Okay. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's elbow hurts too bad, I think, to play catch, but I'm sure he's going to come up with something.
Yeah, hacky sack.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, here's the last one. This is from my good friend Hunter. She adores you, by the way. She was very excited. I texted her last night and told her we were going to do this, and she was like, all caps, let's go. This is going to be my favorite episode.
Yeah, it'll be fun to meet her someday.
Yeah, absolutely. She referenced a book that I haven't read yet. So this is, have you read the book Tipping Point?
No.
Okay, there we go. Hunter.
I like that.
Look at you.
Title, though.
Look at you. So I asked her what it meant because I think it gives a bit of context to the question. But this concept of a tipping point, she told me, is a moment where you either get so excited or so fed up or so something. It's one of those fork in the road moments.
Yeah, choice point.
A choice point where it affected where you are today. And she, for context, loves working with kids, is getting a degree in psychology, is like, she's in it.
Nice.
So I think that you represent a lot of things for her that she, that may be part of her vision. And so with that in mind, what was your tipping point?
Lots of tipping points. Lots of choice points. Yeah, so again, sometimes if we're not in alignment, if we're not in our own self-transparency and acting from that place of inner guidance, life will tip for you. So is it a conscious tipping point or is it now I'm in a really bad place and I don't have a choice to change, right? So I'm not really sure if the question is on a surface level or on a depth level, but a tipping point.
With Hunter, it's always the deep end.
Yeah, there's like a friend just sent me Robert Frost poem, you know, with and one of the lines is the road less traveled.
Yeah.
And it's saying that there's always two paths and you can only take one at a time. And the one that you take is the right one, right? So there's so many conscious points where I could either tip left or right. Mm-hmm. And in my own healing path of empowerment and getting to know myself, I'm cleaning up the energy system to be more in the graces and in the virtues to increase the altitude. And how that begins to guide is it's a process. So one tipping point, this morning, I got up and made my tea and I decided to write. That was a choice I made.
Yeah.
It's just consciously choosing, right? So we have so many tipping points throughout the day. Of last night, I chose to stay at a family event for only an hour so I could actually go back and write too.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I mean, I love that language of tipping point, but these are just conscious living points.
Yeah.
How conscious am I in what I'm choosing to do with my time and energy? And, you know, I hope that answers it. But
yeah. Yeah. I'm sure she'll find a lot of meaning in that. Mm-hmm. That's huge.
We could go left, we could go right, alignment before action, do the thing that feels better.
I love it. Okay. And then,
oh, hold on.
Please go ahead.
Do the thing that feels better in your soul and your heart, not in your head because you're escaping or avoiding. I just needed to clarify that because sometimes the thing that feels better is a compensating behavior.
For sure.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll. That's not what I'm talking about.
Crumble cookies.
Yeah. Hot tamales.
Okay. Fair. Okay. Awesome. Well, I think we'll end it right there.
Okay.
That was beautiful. I think the world of you. We've talked about it before, but I'll say it again. One of the things that's the most important to me about this podcast and what I hope to do with my life is the ripple effect thing that we were talking about before this. I think that you're somebody who, through the people that you help, the ripple effect goes out to their friends, their families, their pets, and that ripples out. And there's so many generations of people that I think that your ripple effect reaches. And I admire the heck out of you for that. And I feel really grateful that for all of the crossroads that I've come to and all of the tipping points for me in the last year or so, I've leaned very heavily on you at times to ask me the questions to get me to make the right decisions and stay the course and find what alignment looks like for me. It means a lot to me that I have an opportunity to take all of the lessons that you've taught me and the things that you've helped me with and be a good steward of that and really try to help you have a bigger ripple effect. So yeah, I appreciate the heck out of you. And it feels like an honor to me to be able to take the gifts that you've given me and hopefully give those to other people.
Yeah, same.
So
yeah, I agree.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. You know, and the coolest thing is the self-discipline and the self-trust that we begin to establish within ourselves when we're in these kind of relationships.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to keep going. I love it. Thank you again so much. We'll put where everybody can find you, get in touch with you, stuff like that in the show notes and all of that. Anything before we get out?
No, this is fun.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because, again, when you speak, sometimes it's like, what did I even say? I don't even know. So it'll be fun to go back and listen to.
This will be one of the listen backs for me for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. We love you so much and be where your feet are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Be where your feet are.